So what we're doing here is in no way like every other electronics channel on YouTube featuring two hands and a cutting mat. Sharp-eyed viewer will see that this is nothing like those other videos because this cutting mat is gray. So what we're going to do today is we're going to start playing with Arduino, obviously, and if you don't know what this is, I don't know why you're here. We're going to start playing with Neopixels, and the idea that I've had is take a coaster with a Neopixel inside it, a clear top. Cycle this through pretty much any colors that you want with your liquor bottles on top. So you'd have a row of these with a Neopixel embedded in each coaster and a bottle on top of that. So in order to get started, we're going to get started the easiest way known to man, using an Arduino. We'll probably move on to using a much smaller and cheaper bare AVR at some point, but we're gonna start out easy. First thing we're going to need is obviously a strip of Neopixels. These are not terribly expensive. And if you don't know what these are, I'm sure you do. These things are all over the place. Essentially, these are RGB LEDs with an embedded controller in each one. So you don't have to actually send the PWM signals to each one of these to light the individual colors. The upshot of that is that your smaller, cheaper AVRs do not actually have 3 PWM components, so it doesn't really work that well for a bare RGB LED. These things they're cheap. They're not expensive at all, and they can be easily had in strips such as this, or boards, or individual components, whatever you need. This is just a random strip that I picked up off of eBay for cheap, and we're going to start working on this. So in order to, you can see here the Arduino is just running the bone stock blink sketch. You can see that LED blinking there. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to hook this up. And while this is probably way too many LEDs to be trying to draw the current out of the Arduino, we're going to set up a small breadboard with an external power supply to power the LEDs. And for that, we're going to use that. Okay, as you can see here, we're running the demo code for the LED strip. We've got our power source coming from our power supply, 5 volts, and our data signal is coming from pin 6 on our Arduino. And you can see that these are quite bright, nice and flickery. The load on this thing, as it's flickering right now, is 140 milliamps, which is not bad. But when it does cycle through and light them all up, the current draw does get quite high for a string of LEDs. You see there where it lights them all up, it gets all the way up to 380 milliamps. And then drops back down when it's cycling the colors. So obviously that's step one.